On behalf of the Fine Arts Department at Byram Hills High School, it is my pleasure to welcome you to the 2021 induction ceremony of the National Art Honor Society. Each year, we are delighted to celebrate new members who have attained high standards in art scholarship, character, and service. Art helps us to communicate, to express ourselves in a way that highlights our commonality and celebrates our individuality. Art builds community and connects us to one another. It breathes life into the mundane. Today, as we induct a new cohort of artists into this organization, we celebrate their commitment to creating beauty in the world and inspiring others.
In 1978, the National Art Education Association began the National Art Honor Society program to inspire and recognize students who have shown an outstanding ability and interest in art. The Byram Hills chapter of the National Art Honor Society was formed in 2018. It's dedicated to providing students with opportunities to broaden their knowledge of the arts and use their talents to serve the community at school and in the local area. This year's NAHS president, Emma Sullivan, brought the Honor Society to a new level with her commitment and leadership. She has remarkably reimagined how to provide service through the arts in this difficult pandemic year.
Hi everyone, I'm Emma Sullivan, the president of the National Art Honor Society. Welcome inductees, parents, and welcome administrators. Firstly, I would like to start out by thanking Ms. Carlin, Ms. Menashe, and Ms. Horn for being the backbone of not only the ceremony, but also this honor society. Everyone here has contributed so much despite the setbacks and hardships that this year has brought. Elena, Lily, and I were able to come up with a few things that would keep the NAHS an active participant in both the high school culture and Byram Hills as a whole. We hosted the Corona competition, a district-wide competition where both students and families sent in photos of their DIY art projects that they did over quarantine, while the Art Honor Society served as judges. We got submissions from all of the schools from Coman Hill to Crittenden. We also partnered with the Student Serving Soldiers Club to create art cards that were put in gift baskets and sent overseas to soldiers currently deployed. In the fall, many of our artists had fun with foliage and decorated leaves with paint and collage to decorate the school as the year slid into October. Then, the Honor Society also decorated pumpkins. Our pumpkins, based on artist Yayoi Kusama, were able to be decorated in person all together as a group, socially distanced. And my personal favorite project was the kindness stones that we placed around the school, boosting morale. We planted these rocks all around, between bathrooms and desks and tables, so people could see our kind messages. Most rocks had messages about calmness and breathing, but it also had a lot about mental health information. That information is extremely important for teens in high school, especially during the pandemic right now. Making this info available easily in public places helps reduce the stigma around mental health issues. A few years back, we had anonymous candy cane gifts that people could send to each other, and I guess it eventually just stopped. I always loved the idea, but I wanted to incorporate art and the Honor Society, so we created Valentinogram. All it took was one simple form for people to fill out with a message that they wanted to send someone with a certain piece of art. We got over 200 submissions. That meant there were more than 200 people that were going to get cards saying that they were loved. So many people sent inside jokes to friends, hilarious love poems, and even a few secret confessions of crushes. I think everyone had a great time giving and receiving these on Valentine's Day, and it was a great way to immerse the society into the student social life and really share the artwork of our students with their peers. This year, in spite of the challenges, we were able to keep growing the National Art Honor Society and continue to honor our artists. As always, the Art Society will continue its mission of honoring artistic skills and creating a safe space for people to challenge themselves while serving the Byram Hills community.
Hello, my name is Elena Pysick, and I am the treasurer of National Art Honor Society at Byram Hills High School. I took photography throughout 3 years of high school. However, I always wished I could take more art classes. NAHS gave me the opportunity I needed to do art outside of my busy schedule. In this society, we make art accessible to anyone with a passion to create. We reach high school students as well as younger grades all the way in elementary school. My role specifically is to keep track of members' attendance, activities, points, as well as the money we raise. This role has allowed me to combine my passion for art as well as my interest in management, and I am forever grateful to have been a part of this society. New members of the NAHS, please follow along as I recite the National Honor Society Pledge. I will, in my life, to the best of my ability, through my talents in art, help to create a better world for myself, for humankind, and for all living things.
Leah Aldea Lustig. Amanda Anixteen, Lily Seisler, Ryan Danny, Reese Ertel, Alicia Huang, Sophia Maharis, Eva Miano, Samantha Milowitz, Elena Pysick, Ruth So, Jordan Siegel, Drew Siskin, Leah Sokol, Emma Sullivan, Mariana Vitage, Anna Welly. Congratulations to all our members.
As president of the Art Honor Society, I charge our new members to continue to act with integrity, keep your promises, respect our individual differences, embrace teamwork, and encourage artistic curiosity wherever you find it. We hope this induction will be just one facet of your lifelong commitment to the arts.
Hi, my name is Amanda Anixteen, and I am a practicing artist in the National Arts Honor Society here at Byram Hills High School. My practice mostly consists of abstract paintings that further explore the interaction between the foreground and the background. More specifically, I like to demonstrate how line, shape, and color work together to develop a particular mood and tone in my paintings. The first painting I like to show you is simply called Red, White, and Blue. Using only acrylic paint and a palette knife, I created a rendition of the American flag. Part of the reason I love abstract art so much is because the viewers of each piece of abstract art have their own interpretation. You sometimes look at abstract art and think, what was the artist trying to portray here? I'm sure if I hadn't mentioned my idea behind Red, White, and Blue, most of you would have had an entirely different interpretation than what I had originally had. The second painting I'd like to show you is called A Mismatch of Moods. While creating this piece, I worked more specifically on the interaction between line and color. As seen in the painting, the several layers I've created portray the sense of depth and darkness.
The Art Honor Society has cultivated many artists within Byram, including myself and Amanda. I have focused primarily on two distinct ideas, what it means to be a woman and the mental deterioration of self. I will be sharing two pieces based on the latter. When I first began to be interested in the AP courses, I was drawn to portraiture to expand my technical abilities. But as my teachers began to challenge me with experimenting in mediums and meaning within my art, I found myself drawn into how the mind works and how I can portray darker emotions with my art. This piece right here is a print I made this year with linoleum and paint, depicting a man crying out from the hands clawing his eyes, as though there was another person trapped within himself. The oil painting I started last year and worked on throughout my entire concentration. The blind girl is drowning, surrounded by hands of those passed around. This piece was a reflection on how loneliness and sorrow can make you think that you are the only one that feels that way, despite the fact that millions of people feel it as well. This is shown by how my subject is being blinded to the hands around her. The art department has truly embraced the individuality of each artist and has challenged us. I was so uncomfortable with finding meaning in my art, but eventually it became as natural as drawing. While I'm currently focused on defining what femininity is to me in the AP art program, I hope to continue my journey in questioning my darker emotions through art.
Anyone in the 300th hallway knows of Mr. Evan Horowitz's passion for music, as it can be heard daily from his chemistry classroom. But what may be unknown to some is that he also has an appreciation for the visual arts. The National Art Honor Society wants to take this opportunity to recognize Mr. Horowitz's commitment to visual arts by inducting him as its first honorary member. One of Mr. Horowitz's defining characteristics is his dedication to his students, something I've experienced firsthand this year. And while a lot of his time is devoted to planning our lessons and practicing demonstrations, he also sets aside time each day to draw. While some artists would disagree, Mr. Horowitz finds the greatest value in what art brings to him as he is expressing himself rather than the final product. However, something most would agree with is that art is a therapy. In college, his classes were primarily math and science as a triple biology, chemistry, and math major, but Mr. Horowitz seemed to make time to squeeze a few art classes into his schedule. Spending time each day to draw brings a calmness to him that allows him to take a break from the rest of the world. Despite their differences, Mr. Horowitz sees chemistry and drawing as very similar. He believes that the ability to problem solve is an art form, a skill necessary in both science and art, which is something I can attest to. While drawing is something very personal to Mr. Horowitz and something he does on his own time, he has also shared this interest with our community. Mr. Horowitz assisted Mr. Lopez in the creation of the physics and chemistry murals. Most notably, he is responsible for the opening box, Schrodinger's cat. He also introduced the art department to his friend Michael Cherney, who is a professional photographer based in China. Michael Cherney's work is included in the permanent collection of the Metropolitan Museum of Art. He has given his time and has worked with the photography students several times thanks to Mr. Horowitz. Mr. Horowitz believes in the power of the arts to make you a well-rounded person, teach you creative problem solving, and force you to think on a deeper level.
From some of my earliest memories, I've always wanted to work in the comic book industry. I voraciously read and then would draw storylines, create characters of my own. This total immersion into the world of colors and shapes, melded with fantasy reality, appealed to my sense of wonder and curiosity. This carried on to my high school years when I created a comic book club with the hopes of drawing and publishing my own comic book. Unfortunately, I was not discovered as the next big thing in the industry, but for the next 13 years I helped run what was at the time became the largest one-day comic book convention in the country. This is where I became friends with and developed a profound respect for the myriad of creators in the industry. Pencilers, inkers, colorists, graphic designers, and writers, all working together to put together a singular object that provided such entertainment for so many. To me, my artistic ventures were my escapes to a realm where creativity and exploration were appreciated and encouraged. It was a safe haven that helped me calm my mind and center my thoughts. The majority of my academic career was centered so much around the sciences of chemistry and biology, but art has always played a large role in developing who I am as a person. To this day, I spend 30 minutes to an hour a day drawing since high school. It has become my winding down ritual for the day. On my very last day of college, literally the last day, graduation day, I decided to forgo the ceremony and spend the afternoon in the studio working on some portfolio pieces. Clearly, my parents weren't thrilled about the lack of invite, but I felt my graduation, my choice. As I was leaving the studio, I ran into a number of art professors talking with the graduation keynote speaker, Art Spiegelman, the creator of the novel Mouse. I immediately gravitated towards the group to bestow my best adulations upon him. When he asked me why I didn't show up for the speech, I told him I was working on a number of my art pieces. At that point, he asked me to show him what I had. Even before I ever stepped into a classroom, I realized that this is what a true educator can do for a student: offer them support, constructive criticism, and validation of their accomplishments. While I am not telling you to skip your graduation, but for me, totally worth it. From this experience, I always felt the importance of opening up my classroom for all my students to express themselves through their own particular forms of artwork. My classroom is plastered with dozens of student invitations for the art shows, as well as individual pieces of student artwork. For me, artistic expression has always been about the process and the journey and development of self. This is why I'm so humbled to be chosen by the students of Byram Hills for honorary induction into the National Arts Honor Society. It has been a privilege to play even a small role in helping guide students down their path of artistic expression, be it by helping with the chemistry and physics murals, perusing through the art shows to find my students' pieces, and to occasionally putting an unnamed piece of artwork up with classwork in the hallway. In my 13 years here, Byram Hills has always been an academic powerhouse, but its true soul lies in the arts. It is a rare institution that affords students the ability to explore their creative sides in drawing, painting, sculpture, photography, and graphic design at the highest of levels. To many students, these classes are the calming center that has helped guide them through what has been difficult times. With the extremely talented students, expertly led by equally talented educators, it is my pleasure to be associated with them, and it is my hope that they will forever keep their artistic side cultivated and satiated. Once again, thank you so very much for this honor.
Congratulations to all our newly inducted members of the National Art Honor Society. Thank you to our advisors, Ms. Jane Carlin and Ms. Amy Menashe, for awakening creativity in our young artists and developing leadership opportunities for them to make a difference. Congratulations and good night.